Welcome, episode 59, Broad Street Hustle. Tommy Nanny here for the U.S. Open show, one of my favorite shows of the year behind the Masters, which is also a golf tournament. So let's cut right into it. We're going to go, it's going to be all U.S. Open, so let's jump right into it. Jason Sayeda, I got with me.
What's up, Tom?
Jimmy the Chalk, as always.
What's up?
And we have our golf expert here. So I didn't decide did I want to lay right into him or do I want to give him his 5 minutes of fame for his competing wife's podcast he can brag a little bit about, and his Delco friends that live nearby. So I'll give him his 5 minutes. Kevin Krieger is joining us, our U.S. Open golf expert. He was here for the Masters. Welcome.
Good to be back. Good to be back, boys.
And before we start, Kevin, since you joined us last, you actually got to play two new golf courses, right, that you haven't played. And I know last time we talked about some of the courses. So you want to fill us in on those?
Trying to, yeah. I mean, always looking to spread my wings. Been, fortunate enough to hit some new tracks. Not quite we'll talk about our man Gil Hance later, who renovated LACC, but played a dope design Stonewall out in the middle of nowhere, Chester County. But I don't want to compare it to LACC, but kind of a throwback to classical golf. Talk about wide fairways, undulating Moeller-like greens, dramatic bunkering, fescue lines. So it was score wasn't the best, but I mean, courses like that, just like this week, it's just fun to play, fun to watch. And good old Radley Run was another one where played the other week. Great track out in Westchester, and me and my partner came home with a big win there. So trying to keep it rolling. Playing Laurel Creek tomorrow, another South Jersey private course, Arnold Palmer design. So it's
wow.
It's
Where's that one at, Kev?
Mount Laurel. So it's South Jersey. I mean, I played once before. It's some kind of knock it because it's house lined, right? So I wouldn't want to necessarily live in that course with some golfers that go through there. But again, great track, tough. Amenities are great. So bringing the wifey out too. So getting some brownie points for that.
You're a better man than me. For that. Oh man! All right, well let's jump in before we get into the nitty gritty of the U.S. Open. I'm going to read a transcript from I guess it was the Masters show, and I'm not going to say who it was, but here's the line: I think LIV is dead by 2026, followed by a little bit of an awkward silence. Dead, completely gone. It's going to be the XFL. Kevin, would you like to say anything on that?
Yeah, you know what? I was wrong because it looks like they're going to be dead before that.
Okay. And I think Chalky has a theory on this as well.
And I know this is the U.S. Open podcast, but it's the elephant in the room. I mean, it was one of those what the F moments in sports came out of nowhere. I mean, watching the pressers this week of all the, from the Rahms and Rorys to a team, nobody had any clue. And honestly, I mean, it might not even come to fruition because the U.S. Senate has to pass it, European governing bodies have to pass it. Now we got Jay Monahan, who's on leave from some unknown medical condition, so it keeps getting weirder and weirder. But to be clear, it would be a partnership between the PGA Tour and the PIF, which is the Saudi Sovereign Wealth Fund, not LIV. I mean, LIV was kind of their Trojan horse in a way to get into golf, but it's a crap product. They did not start LIV, they invested in it, and most likely, I mean, LIV as we know to play out this season. Those players, I think, will find their way to try to get back to the PGA Tour. But I was wrong.
It sounds like I need to bring my lawyer on for this episode with all this jargon. Chalky, what was your you teased it last show with you had some conspiracy theory you got from The Onion or Man Magazine, wherever you got it from. But
it was from Twitter, which is
is
a great source of information nowadays. But the thread has actually been taken down, so to me that gives it more credence because somebody got to somebody anyway. But to give Kevin some support, he said it would be dead by 26, and that's probably right. So he didn't say. I don't think he ever said literally they will never merge.
Completely gone. It's going to be the XFL.
Gone. Yes, well, that's if you keep reading. If you keep reading, that's where it gets a little tricky.
On a
yes,
technicality, LIV. Well, the PIF is ending, so it's probably worse that it's the Saudis owning golf.
Yeah. So here was the theory, and I'm not a lawyer, and I didn't run this by the official law firm of Broad Street Hustle to see if any of this is actually legit. But this was the theory that was thrown out there.
He's working on fantasy football.
I'm sure. So, they had PGA and LIV had dueling litigation against each other. I forget when the lawsuit was first filed, whatever. So, it's going to be expensive, but ultimately, discovery can be costly even if you don't lose the actual case because a lot of stuff comes out that maybe you don't want. It's a bad look. So, for instance, last time Kev mentioned all the bumps in PGA purses. Well, PGA is registered as a non-profit, which gives them certain tax-exempt status. So, if you're all of a sudden bumping all these purses through discovery, it's going to be, where did you get this money from if you weren't using it before because you weren't supposed to be putting it in your pocket? So, who knows how that would have went. But to not have that long drawn-out court battle, expensive court battle, and have discovery, the agreement to merge was made knowing that it is unlikely it will actually get approved. So what we have right now for the time being is this proposed merger where Monahan, who's now on leave, like I said, would have, in theory, the final say at the end of this year whether LIV can exist after this year. That's in the bylaws or whatever. He can say whether they can play or not next year as a tour. But the expectation was they go for this merger for it to be denied either at the European or at the U.S. level as a monopoly, because LIV is suing the PGA or was suing the PGA for being a monopoly and trying to be anti-competitive. So now if they're saying, well, you won't let anybody else in, but now you're merging in with them, you're doing what you're saying was illegal in the first place, so it might not pass that. Then if that gets stopped, LIV no longer has the argument of we're trying to better the game of golf. It was we were just trying to get a merger or get something in the first place. So their whole reason for being around is now shot. And by merging with the PGA or trying to, their argument of PGA is trying to keep everybody out is now also gone because they were willing to work and merge with them. And then LIV either keeps going forward without the sham of whatever they're doing, or they quietly go away because now the cat is out of the bag, not that anybody thought that they were actually doing this tour for the greater betterment of the game of golf in the first place. It's like 7D chess. I don't believe it. I'm not endorsing it, but it was interesting because I think there is potentially a real fight to get this passed in the sense that unless LIV comes out and says, no, our lawsuit was all junk in the first place, because the merger would basically be doing what they accused PGA of doing with their original lawsuit. So who knows? But just interesting to, and that was the other thing too. It's the PGA has taken, especially Monahan, has taken a lot of hits with PR because of this. And you know, whatever you think, it's a right, wrong business decision. Like they wheeled out the 9/11 families as a reason why you don't want to be playing for these guys, and then they went and merged with them. So it's a bad.
I'm sorry. That's the alarm. Is
that the government? Is that the government coming in? Like, you know. Anyway,
waking everybody back up.
So if you're going to take that PR hit, it might be to get rid of LIV. It's worth it if you get rid of LIV, and you're not putting the 9/11 families in the middle of it, which is a disgrace. But that's it. I'll stop.
God, this is a shot at Kevin that went horribly wrong.
Nice chalky up. Back in me, though, a lot of points.
He filibustered you out of that one.
He straight up did.
When it happens, you'll thank me.
It's wild too. One last point about that.
Go ahead.
It's not there, but the mastermind who likely orchestrated this, Billy Dunn, who's a former Wall Street mogul, lost 64 employees during 9/11, which is wild, and he didn't go to work or went in late. So the fact that he brokered a deal with the Saudis, that means I think there's still a lot to be that we don't know about, but it goes a lot deeper. I mean, I'm not saying Illuminati or anything like that, but you know.
Actually, not to start another story, but the reason why he wasn't in the office is even better than what you were saying. He was playing in a PGA qualifier that morning, which is why he wasn't in the office in the Twin Tower. And he was going to play in one the day before, and a guy he worked with who ended up dying told him, no, play Tuesday because you'll play that course better. And it saved his life because he played in the PGA qualifier that day. In theory, I think like half of his firm ended up dying when the towers came down, half got out, but yeah.
And now he's taking that blood.
We might have to change our rating on the YouTube channel.
Well, he said he's convinced that none of the people that are investing were involved with 9/11 directly, so I guess it's good enough.
If Chalky's not on next week's episode, you know what happened. So
I'm gonna have a medical. I'm gonna have a medical condition like Monahan and just disappear.
Stay tuned. Luckily, you don't show your face, so you know they might not be able to find you.
True, you got.
Oh no!
All right, let's move on to the U.S. Open. First stage back in 1895 and won by an Englishman. Anybody know who won the first the first U.S. Open?
She was Old Tom Morris. No, that's British. It's not.
It was Horace Rollins.
Of course.
Who banked a whopping $150 for as prize money for winning the U.S. Open.
What's that inflation adjusted?
It was 36 holes, and he shot a whopping 173, a 91, and an 82. Which we probably...
Oh, I could have won it. I could have won it.
So that was the first one. And now we're on our 123rd U.S. Open. This edition is at the North Course of the Los Angeles Country Club for the first time. Par of 70. I think it was 7,423 yards. Originally, this course was from 1897. It was a 9-hole course called Windmill Links. A little background. Kevin, you had something quickly on the course, right? You have a little tie to it?
I mean, yeah, personally, so I got family out in LA. My brother will be there on the grounds tomorrow, Friday, Sunday.
Nice.
He did get a little kind of walking tour a few weeks back. Knows a member, which is crazy. I mean, this course is probably harder to get into or on than Augusta. I mean, they specifically, even though they're in the middle of Hollywood, famously don't have any celebrity members. I mean, even Hugh Hefner, the original Playboy Mansion's on the 13th hole, and for decades he tried to play to become a member, and they turned him down because they didn't want that kind of attention. But yeah, it's. I mean, this is a course that, I mean, not to get too deep into the weeds. But a Gil Hanse design, who he's kind of become the U.S. Open renovator whisperer. Not only did he renovate LACC, he renovated the Country Club at Brookline, which was last year's U.S. Open. He did Wingfoot, which held the 2020 U.S. Open, Oakmont in PA, which held the 2016 U.S. Open, Marion right here, or 2013 Open, and Baltusrol in Jersey. So.
Marion, which we did go to for, I think, the Friday round.
10 years ago.
Yep.
So good. I was there Sunday. Yeah.
All right, so let's. So we do have something pretty fun. We had this, I guess, 2 weeks back where we did a draft for baseball. This week we're going to do a U.S. Open draft, quick 6 rounds. We're basically looking at 6 picks, your cumulative score of all the golfers. Your worst golfer will kind of be shoot away, and you'll take your top 5 of the 6. If your guy misses the cut, there's all kind of crazy formulas. Basically, if your guy misses the cut, you have it's tough to win. If two guys miss the cut, because the one of them will be dismissed. So, we're not going to get into all that, but we'll release the results obviously next week. But let's just do a draft. We did do a pre-draft lottery, and Chalky did win that lottery. So we're going to go right back. We're going to go right into it. We're going to go 6 rounds. Look, if you got something on a guy you want to say it. Even if it's not your pick. If you want to hold off until we start getting into deep part of the show, you can. However you want to take it. But we'll roll right into it, right? You guys ready?
Let's do it.
Yep.
Go ahead, Chalk.
This is a tough one, but I'm going to take Scotty Scheffler.
Yep, the easy one. And
right.
I'm actually going to take, and I hate to do it, but I do like Rahm. I'm going to take Rahm.
Tough picks for the two of you guys to start off, huh?
I'm going to go Koepka. I mean,
big game hunter.
Kevin, you got 2 here now with the snake style.
Right, 4-5. I'm gonna go with one of the many California kids to break through Xander with my number 4 pick, and I'm gonna go with his best bud, Cantlay, with number 5, another California kid.
You took 2 of the biggest chokes in the game.
Well, you know what? It's
Well,
14 last
listen,
18 U.S. Open winners have been first time, winners.
and you don't have to win this.
Yeah,
you just
right.
need a good score.
And
right?
those guys
Rory-
put up scores.
Yeah, they're
That's true. Not having to win it's big.
Yeah.
All right, coming back to you, Jason.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Hovland, my boy Hovland.
like that.
All right. I'll go with. I mean, he's still out there, so I guess I gotta take him. I'll go with Rory.
I was gonna say, wow, for the 7.
All right, I'm gonna go.
St. Louis
Cam's.
Cardinals. Oh, I'm sorry.
You don't
We
want
have 2? Oh no, Charlie's got 2.
two.
No,
Yeah,
it
Cam
was,
Smith.
it was a shot at him from a previous show.
Cardinals.
Anyway, Cam Smith and who can I come back? Give me Spieth.
It's one of my dudes this week. Good pick.
I'm gonna go with my boy Tony Finau.
Big Tone.
All right, I'm gonna go Terrell Hatton.
Hatton was on my short
Another
list.
good pick.
Yeah.
Trending nicely. And I got 2 here. I'm gonna go fan favorite, who is again one of my picks. I might be taking him a little early, but my man Rick, I'm going Fowler
Oh,
with the 12th pick. And then do I stay with the California kids? I mean, he's got an excellent history in California courses. My homie Max Homa, 13.
All right,
Jason.
back to me. Yeah, I'm gonna go Matthew Fitzpatrick.
Defending champ. His teeth are looking good these days.
Yeah, well, the good thing is
Those
if
English
he
teeth.
doesn't perform well in here, the Saratoga's opening up soon. He can run a little bit out there.
Yeah.
I'll go with DJ coming off his the LIV.
Win. Decent showing at PGA, at least first 2 rounds.
All right, so let's go with. Let's go with somebody who knows the course, was Scheffler's teammate on the 2017 Walker Cup, and that is Morikawa.
So if that back holds up, but that's
That might be my burn pick, but I don't think he was going to be available coming back.
that's good value there.
And Tommy Fleetwood.
I like that too. That was a wild finish. I don't know if you guys saw that.
Yeah, I
last
saw
week.
it.
Then
He's another
he
guy.
get- yeah.
He'll never win, but he'll put up.
I mean, losing a 72-foot eagle putt on the third play fault, and then
Yeah.
Hadwin getting bodied. I mean, that's all time.
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah, I'll go with So you went Fleetwood. Give me Jason Day. A little bit of a comeback.
All right.
I'll go with Justin Rose.
I don't know how this guy is 50-1 this week, but JT Justin Thomas. I mean, he's got to turn around some point.
Yeah, his form has just been awful.
Yep.
Could be my 6th guy, but
And you got one more.
oh yeah, that's right. Back to back.
This is your last one.
Last one. I'll go Hideki.
All right. I'm gonna go with a live guy. I just don't know which one of the two. All right, I'm gonna take a shot. I'm gonna go with Patrick Reed.
Big odds. Reed was like big odds too.
Yeah.
70-1 or so, give
Yeah.
or take. All right, I'll probably butcher this guy's name. I'm gonna take a little bit of a fly, a little bit of a sleeper here. Thegla.
Yeah,
Thigala.
that's my boy.
Thigala, come on.
I got some bets coming on him.
Yeah.
You'll hear
Heath.
soon.
And Chalky,
Thigala.
finish this off.
All right. Do I want to go wild or go sensible? Because there's still some picks left on the board here. All right, let's do this. Let me make sure I didn't get hurt. Nope. All right. The juice is loose. Bryson.
That's
I
the other
like
guy.
that, too.
It was between DeChambeau or Reed. Yep.
So you're going OJ.
As a
Second
flyer.
there. The juice is loose. In LA, I don't know if that's a good pick in LA.
A little soft spot out there.
All right, well that was fun. We'll give us something to track as the tournament goes on, and we'll definitely talk about it next week as we go over our picks. All right, let's get into it. Get into the nitty gritty. We went over the course. I always throw it to you first, Jason.
I
You don't have to get right into picks, but do you have overall?
No, I was going to talk about the
concepts?
course a little
Go
bit.
ahead.
Yeah. So it's Bermuda Rough, which I don't believe they've had in almost 20 years, right? They haven't played U.S. Open. It's Bermuda
Very
Rough,
rare.
which apparently is really tough. Now, obviously, the U.S. Open's notorious for having pretty disastrous rough situations. So you do not want to miss the fairway.
Big wide open
it's-
fairways though from I guess.
Well, you don't want to miss. You don't even want to miss by like a foot. Like you don't want to be off the fairway here. So, basically, I was just looking for like guys who are greens in regulation, rough scramblers, some driving accuracy, recent form, obviously, and I even took a look at some prior U.S. Opens just because again, it's notorious for you need to be either out of the rough or good out of the rough. So. Then I also looked at the Data Golf course fits, and I saw two courses. They compared it at least yardage wise, and that was Olympia Fields and then Winged Foot. I know Kevin mentioned that earlier in the show. DeChambeau won on Winged Foot in 2020, so I like Chalky's pick with DeChambeau. I might have made a mistake there, but. Those are the things I looked at. I don't know if anybody else wants to talk a little bit about the course before we get into golfers or.
Yeah. Go ahead, Kevin.
Well, I was going to
go,
say
and then Chalky.
what I've heard. I mean, from what just reading pressers, my brother was there. I mean, this is definitely a unique U.S. Open setup because the rough is gnarly, very penal. But what Tom was saying, very wide fairways for U.S. Open. Somewhat deceptively because a lot of them bank one way or the other. So unless you're shaping the shot into the fairway, could roll off and be disastrous. But if you look at the layout of this hole, I mean, there are some firsts or things that we've never seen in the U.S. Open in a long, long time. I mean, one, Bermuda Rough. The other, there's 5 par 3s, which is the first time in, 50 plus years or since the 1950s. And some monsters. I mean, you've got 3 par 3s that are going to play 250 plus. One, number 11, might actually play 300 yards as a par 3, which is wild.
Yeah, it's wild.
And then you have the 15th hole, which might be one of the most unique holes. I mean, in U.S. Open, you look at number 7 at Pebble. Scorecard has it at 124, but apparently on Saturday they're going to play it at 78 yards, which is like a flip lob wedge. But what makes it crazy is these greens are very unique, been described as like spider greens or like molar-shaped greens where they have a lot of, inlets and kind of peninsulas on them. So depending on pin placement, I think it's going to come down to a second shot course. I think shots gained approach are going to be paramount because the fairways are wide enough that it's not going to be like a Winged Foot where you had 6 foot or 6-inch rough. It was more of a bomb and gouge. This is going to be more of a second shot where you're going to need to be on the right side of the fairway, but your wedge game, short iron game needs to be on point. And I think it's going to be a hell of a fun Open to watch just because of the disparity of holes. You got a couple drivable par 4s, gettable par 5s, so there's going to be birdies and doubles across the board. But I think, for me, it's short game and shots gained approach.
Yeah, before I go to chalk, one thing that I saw, so, again, it might not correlate, but Jason referenced how, like, looking at past U.S. Opens, etc. The last 4 U.S. Opens, now, Fitzpatrick was 4th in putting, but putting is not as important as, like, if you look at U.S. Open history, as you would think, which, of course, you're always off putters is what save him. Last year was 4th, but the guy who won years prior, 20th, 21st, and 42nd. So not like your top 10 in putt, not even your top 20 putters were winning the U.S. Open. It's exactly what you guys both said.
Tee to green.
It's tee to green. It's
Scotty's a
shot
lot.
speed.
Yeah.
So that's right. That's Scotty Scheffler. I mean,
Right.
he loses shots putting, but he gains shots in every single other category. So, but again, this is unique. And you said there's Spider Greens, some inlets, some peninsulas, so maybe it plays differently. So, that's part of the unknown. That can also lead to a first-time winner, which, you do see in the U.S. Open. But just an added note that I picked up doing some research. Chalky, anything to add?
No, I think the guys pretty much cover everything that I had as far as the stats and then the course itself. Just to reiterate kind of what Kevin said, some of the things I was reading, it's not so much that the fairways will be wide, but the elevation of some of the shots, and then obviously you have some. You not only have the drivable par 4, but also some really really long par 4s, and so it'll be interesting. It'll be an interesting tournament to watch, I would assume, because you usually don't see a lot of that kind of variance within a course.
Yeah, what are you guys thinking for score? Yeah, it was what, 6 under the last 2 years?
I
heard
didn't
3 years, right? It was 6
Between
under?
7 and 9, I heard.
Yeah.
Vegas has it at, I think, 8.5, 8.5, but it's hard. I mean, it depends how firm and fast I can get these greens. I mean, that's the thing is there's been no
I don't think we're
rain.
getting any rain, so I think they're going to
they can
probably
make
be
them as
fast.
fast as they want.
Yeah.
And we can't move on with one thing I forgot to mention is add to everybody's lexicon the barrancas. The over under on how many times they say it this week is probably going to be about 200, but that's a distinct, unique feature of LACC. A barranca, if you look it up, I don't know, Tommy, if you have Webster up right now. I'm surprised you didn't have this, but it's
Chalky's more of the technical.
Yeah, Chalky.
Chalky.
How do you
Waiting
spell
for you to
it?
say barrancas, BARANCA. It is
Wasn't he a Mortal Kombat character?
Yeah. Pull it up. Give us the definition of barranca, but this is a very distinct.
Yeah, well, one thing with golf, and I was thinking as you used the word, the phrase "bomb and gouge," is
a narrow, winding river gorge. Ah, yeah. So this is the thing that. Okay,
Right.
yeah. I'll let you describe. But I forgot. This is very interesting when I read about it. Yeah.
yeah.
Yes,
Go ahead.
Well,
Yeah.
it's like 95% of the time in California, I mean, there's no rain, so they're these basically dry riverbeds, but that are overgrown with like weeds and grass. And then when they have like this winter rains or floods, it turns into like a flowing river throughout the course.
Oh, that was what's it? Did you see
A couple weeks ago.
where what's his face who wound up winning the tournament?
Yeah, I forget
I
his
can't
name.
think of his name. Hit the ball and it traveled backwards like behind the tee down this river basically until it got cut up on a tree limb.
Grillo.
Yeah, Grillo. Yeah.
Miliano, yes, that's right.
So, I was saying
the course has no water. There's no lakes or whatever, but the barranca is what plays into it.
Yeah,
So,
I
Oakmont has it too. No, I'm sorry, it's different from Oakmont. It's saying I'm just reading here the PGA, but
I just remember being like a kid and just learning golf and learning words that like undulation, like a word that I've never used ever. But when you're playing golf, the undulation on the green. It's
What
like
undulation was happening in Southwest Philly?
Wow, there was a body in League Island on the 13th hole that caused the undulation in the green a little bit.
Island Avenue.
No, I'm
Crazy.
saying
Turtle
playing
shell
golf
out.
and playing golf, like you would hear these terms that you just wouldn't use in like your everyday vernacular. So it's always that's
kinda
enough.
like,
Like
yeah,
Baraka
like finance
would be
people,
one
right?
that I'm not going to use, I'm sure.
Barranca, it's
All right. So anything else? I did read something where Riviera form, so that was a Genesis invitation, could play a little factor into it. So I guess the designers of that course were similar or same.
the same George Thomas.
Right.
Design
Bell and Tom
Riviera.
course. Now I know you said they made a ton of redesigns on it, so how much does that factor into this course? But
I heard somebody mention that guys who did do well at the Masters might do well at this course.
Yeah, I read that.
read
Prior
that?
major form is going to be a key
Feels
indicator.
Yeah, and I think the California guys. I mean, I got one side. This guy Justin Ray. I don't know if you follow him on Twitter. He's got some crazy stats. But in California, yeah, best scored at par PGA Tour events in California. Rahm, Cantlay, Homa, or 1, 2, 3. They finished first, second, third at Riv this year.
Yep.
Same designer, both in LA. We'll see if that plays out. But
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always it's always fun. Now I do hate the California time, so we're looking at like now.
No, I like
prime time golf, baby.
Yeah, it's prime time golf. That's
I'm-
awesome.
I got kids trying to go to bed and stuff. I don't know.
Then you can watch it after they go to bed. That's,
Yeah.
you know,
So what time is it going to end?
probably not.
I mean, probably 10 o'clock, right?
And I mean, I think the last group I think is going to tee off around 3 Pacific. So yeah, I mean that's the other thing. You might see
Oh wow!
6
So it's 6 o'clock our time.
2:45, I think, is the last. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
being Father's Day is always the last few years has been a nice way to spend watching
and
golf
we got
by
the-
myself and
Yeah.
nobody bother me.
And we got the Monday off.
And then we got the Monday off.
Ah,
so,
yeah, that's right. There you go.
Um,
I remember. I don't. Have they always done that with the West Coast thing? Because I remember the year Spieth won.
Pebble Beach was the last U.S. Open.
Because it was
I don't
dark
remember
out, and it was
that
late at
late,
night
but it
when
must-
No,
Johnson
it's late.
Johnson blew it, and I remember that was the first year
Right.
Fox had it, so I didn't know if they changed the time around, but I don't typically remember it being like
No, I
that
do.
dark out here locally on the west, but I maybe I just wasn't.
Yeah, that's when
remembering
it
all
ends.
that,
Yeah.
but-
Yeah,
It's
it goes
really
late.
just the U.S. Open and the PGA. Obviously, the only two that could be out west.
right.
Right.
But so it's like Pebble, Chambers Bay was the one.
Torrey
Yeah,
Pines, right? It was
Torrey
Torrey
Pines.
Pines 1 year.
Couple
Torrey
years ago.
Pines.
Yeah.
So
All right, well, let's jump into some players. So Jason, we'll kick you off again. I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you want to give some winners? Do you want to just give an overall thought on some guys? Did you want to give?
I don't know how you want to do it. I mean, obviously, I'm not one to push chalk, but I strongly think that Scheffler is going to win.
yeah,
this
we
tournament.
could just do overall for now. So, golf recently has been. These tournaments have been chalky, guys. I mean, there's you're not looking at the 100-1 guys and the 75. It's been. I mean, even Koepka winning the major, the Masters was not. What was he like the 5th or 6th pick?
One
Right?
PGA.
Or PGA.
you know, 4
and
majors. Major
Right.
winner,
Well,
yeah.
Rahm won the major Masters. He was top.
Yeah.
What? 2? Was he even? He might have even been the favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
And
he was
then-
third choice. Masters, he was third behind Scheffler and McIlroy. I think.
Right,
That's
and then
very close.
Koepka was up there, right, for the PGA. So
Yeah.
I mean, you do see chalk form kind of win these tournaments. So go ahead. You were going to say about Scheffler.
Yeah, I just I just really think he's going to win. I mean, I've been saying it for ever since the PGA. He probably should have won that. He had the one bad day, the day that it rained. He couldn't get his.
It wasn't
footing
even.
right
It was
or-
about nine holes too. It wasn't even a whole
Yeah.
day
Right.
of being
He just
bad.
like his footing wasn't right. You could tell he was struggling that day. And then other than that, like we said, he wound up finishing second. He didn't putt well at all, and he still finished second, and he still should have won. So, and I kind of don't feel like Rahm or Koepka is going to win again. I kind of think it's like Scheffler's turn. They're the top 3 guys right now, I would say. And I kind of see just as Scheffler's tournament to win. Obviously, I did play Koepka also because you have to. I mean, in a major. My other big guy is Hovland.
Yeah, I was going to
I'm
say
sure-
I was going to bring him up because he was a guy that both of us have followed for a while, and he finally got over the hump.
I
with
think
one
he's
of
ready
those-
to
with
win.
the
I
win
think
a
he's
few
ready
weeks
to win a
back.
major. Yeah, I think he's ready to win a major. They're my top 3 guys. I have other guys, but I'll let you guys talk, about your big guys first. But I like Hovland. His odds, I grabbed him. I think I told Tommy. I grabbed him probably during the PGA.
Before he
And
won that tournament, right?
or sometime he was 25 to 1.
It was
and he's
before
not
he
25
won.
to-
Before he
Yeah.
won the whatever
Yeah.
tournament that he recently won, he went from like
Yeah,
25.
he's not 25 to 1
Right.
anymore, but I got him at 25 to 1.
That's
They're my top 3 guys. I have 5 other guys I'll give you, but you guys could go.
All right, Chalky. Where's your head at when it comes to just overall guys?
Yeah, I mean, I think Jason went through most of the stats, but there's a couple. Scheffler is like when they say, well, you should be top 10. Like Scheffler's 2 and 3 in like all the stats. that are
His
relevant,
shots
except for-
gained, the rankings
It's-
of shots gained is like something I've never seen.
It's like
before.
Tiger Woods.
Well,
level.
no, he's on track to have the second greatest season of all time strokes gained
Yeah.
behind Tiger in 2002 when he won 3 majors, right?
Yep.
So it's a historic season from that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
So, I mean, I'm not going to say bet him at 6 to 1, but I have him tied in with some other stuff across other. Of the top guys, I mean, I'm going to play Rory again at 16 to 1.
You stick together, you guys. You can't.
Rory is
The,
a first round leader, yeah, but Sundays.
So,
I do have them in the pick, so
So I'll just give you three winners. I mean, there's more obviously you could play and still make a lot of money. But so Rory at 16 to 1, Cam Smith 30 to 1, and Bryson at 40 to 1. I think I will be betting Hovland both top 5 and top 10. I forget. Are we going for everything here? We're just going to come back.
Yeah,
to
I
Nah,
would
just
kinda-
give like your top tier guys,
Yeah,
and
your
then
top-
yeah, I mean those are I'll call them the top tier guys if you want to call them that. And it's I feel like if it's not one of those top 4 guys, there's like 15 other guys that can win, but it's probably gonna be one of those top 4 guys.
Yeah. How about you, Kevin?
Yeah, I mean that's it. The U.S. Open, I think more than any of the majors, is where the cream rises to the top. I mean, there's rarely ever a fluky winner, but to that tune, one
Well, you
guy,
had 19 was Gary Woodland, right? Who shot a ridiculous 13 under.
So he was probably 50 to 1, but
Yeah,
he was
he
still
was-
top 50 player in the world. It wasn't like
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't super chalk, but yeah, that's probably in reason. And Fitzpatrick too had pretty long odds, but he was
Yeah.
playing
Pretty well. Yeah.
pretty good going into that. But 14 of the last 18 U.S. Open winners have been first-time major champions, right? So Hovland obviously, is the first obvious choice that fits that mold based on that set alone. But my first pick in the draft, Xander, I think he's a lot going for him. California kid. He's played the U.S. Open 6 times, never finished worse than T14. He's averaged 2.87 strokes gained total per round at the U.S. Open in his career. The only player since World War II with a better average who has not won is Bobby Locke, South African legend. He's currently fifth on tour in strokes gained approach. So, I think my man is super consistent. So he's another one. You can get 18, 20 to 1. So a little longer odds than some of the top
Yeah, he's
guys.
just a guy that's just bitten me so many times. I think
I know.
Jason,
But he's like a Hovland too.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he's been around a little longer, but he's going to win a major, so I don't want to miss that boat. But I do like Xander this week, and even Hatton. I don't.
Hatton is a guy. Yeah, I was big on. I know Jason.
Great
said
form.
he-
Another guy hasn't broke through yet.
Now, I read a few things that a lot of pretty people that I respect were against Homa this week, and he's been high on lists. What are your thoughts
So-
around him? I'm sure you probably came across similar research looking through it.
Did you want to go, Kev? I have thoughts.
I mean, it's both sides. I mean, he's has great success in California. He's won the Genesis at Riv. I think the biggest thing going against him is just kind of the hometown pressure. I mean, he's Mr. LA, and his form is kind of like at the beginning of the year. I mean, it was Rom Scheffler Homa, through the first 10 events, but he's kind of faded off. The other thing, I mean, he does have the course record here. We mentioned that he shot a 61 back in Pac-12 championship 10 years ago. I just don't know if the pressure is going to get to him. But
Jason.
I just don't think his odds are. I think he's too low. Right. I think if you're talking like 40 to 1 on Homa,
You
I
can
think
get
it's
him
a
at
great
about
bet.
28, right? 28, I think I saw.
I think he's less
Did he
than
go
that.
less?
5 to
Did he
20.
lower it? Okay.
35 on DraftKings.
He's 35.
Oh, wow.
DraftKings has him 35 outright win.
So then he went up.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I'm still thinking 40 or higher. Like Kevin said, he's got the course record there. He's from there. He plays well at all California courses. Is he ready to win a major? I don't know.
Yeah, then
Not for me.
Chalky, you said a name and actually got a positive groans from the group here. DeChambeau was the guy that you said, and like I said, guys nodded. What's your thoughts there, and what's everybody else's thoughts there?
So I mean, he had he finished, what was it, top 5 or top 10 at the PGA, and he was actually, I have to go back and find the stats, but obviously he can drive the ball, right? So that plays well here. And there was a couple other. Now I'm going to put me on the spot to go find the where he was ranking on some of the other stuff as far as why he could win. But come back to me. But I'm sure these guys know the stats better than me. But a couple of us looking at top 5 or top 10 in these different categories, and he came up a couple times, and he's dropped a little because he was like 60 or so to 1 earlier in the week in some books. Now DraftKings has him at 40 to 1. But yeah. So
How about you guys? Kevin, you had something to say?
Well, I'm saying, do we even have those live guys? It's kind of hard because we don't get the same data as them. I mean, what I will say,
You're only going off of the majors they played in here, I guess.
Yeah, and I mean, ever since, I mean, he looks more like a normal human after the bulk up.
Right.
Hasn't lost much distance. I mean, he's one that, when he won the U.S. Open at Winged Foot, I mean, I know you were saying that normally U.S. Open putting doesn't matter, but I think he might have been first or top 3 strokes gained putting.
He's a better putter than everybody would think. He's not a bad putter.
I just think, and with him too, with his length, I mean, he's hitting 9 irons, when most guys are hitting 7, even 6 irons.
Right.
What would be hilarious though is on 15, that 78-yard hole, because all his clubs are 6-iron length. So him trying to hit like a little flip wedge into that.
Yeah.
So just to go back to this, so the main stat, I kind of just threw him in because he was a longer shot. So strokes gained off the tee, he's ranked 3 on that. And the write-up says, great drivers of the golf ball will have a major advantage at LACC. Over the last 24 rounds, he was ranked 3rd behind Cantlay and Scheffler. So I thought at that price he was worth including.
Yeah, I just think he played really well at PGA.
Yeah,
He's in
much
form,
better.
And he won a U.S. Open. Before, so I think there's value on him. He's going to be one of my second-tier guys once we start giving those.
Yeah,
sure.
we can go into. Why don't we just do like a sleeper kind of segment here, because that's always fun. So without getting into everybody, but Jason, who do you have? Say 50, 60 to 1 or better that you realistically can win. But if you think maybe just a top 5, top 10 finish, but somebody along.
Well, I have Justin Rose. I think Justin Rose could win. I'll give you all my second tier guys. There's only 5 of them. Fitzpatrick, obviously he won last year. Cam Smith, Chalky picked. DeChambeau, who we said, and Terrell Hatton's just been, his form is unbelievable right now.
Yeah, but
look at his,
they're all under 50, correct?
Well, I mean, listen, I have guys, like Thigala that I think are top 20, top 40 guys, but I don't see them winning.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, and I have Reed and I have Siwoo Kim. I mean, they're the guys I'm going to play to get top 20, top 40, maybe. And all these guys I'm playing to lead after the first round. Because I think there's there's even value on Scheffler. He's 18 to 1 the lead.
Everybody, because I mean it's obviously it's such a pigeonhole bet that it makes the odds inflate. What were you going to say about Hatton before I cut you off? You had some comments on Hatton.
Oh, his form has just been unbelievable right now. If you look at his stats of like where he's finished within the last like month or two, it's unbelievable. It's like top 15. Like I don't have the exact stats in front of me, but I remember looking at it. I was like, this guy is on his game right now, and he's always been good. You and I have always picked him. We like him. So, at his odds, I think he was in the 40s, if I remember correctly.
It's hard to put out. How about you, Kevin? Do you have any? I mean, you could do second tier guys, or like I said, 50, 60 to 1 or better. Any crazy guys like that?
Yeah, I mean, Rick, I do love Rick. I mean, outright 45 to 1. So close, but I think, again, Fowler, if you look at his year-over-year stats, again, again, shot gain approach. He's 7th on tour. He is, I think.
Yeah, what is his problem? Like, why does he not win these tournaments? Like, his numbers, like you said, are good, but even he was in a tournament, I think, last week.
He went bad for a while.
But yeah, like, what's
It
his
was a
issue?
swing change. So just like Spieth went through swing change, he was out, for a couple of years. Tiger's done it a couple times. Fowler, it was, a lot of times these guys try to tweak one thing to improve a weakness, and it kind of ruins everything else. But has been trending them in the right direction the last year and a half. I mean, he used to be a in the mix for majors. I mean, he was like the Xander Schauffele 4 or 5 years ago. He finished in 17 or 18. I think it was top 4 in all 4 majors. Nobody, I don't know if it's nobody or maybe only one other. I think it's nobody that's finished or done that in 1 year, finished top 5 major every year, has not won a major at some point in their career. He's also, so one other stat where only, I think it's him and Scotty are the only 2, I'm trying to find that, but only 2 players over the last 6 months that have positive strokes gain in every single category.
Wow.
So
yeah, and he was just up there in a tournament, right? Recently, like 2 weeks ago, I want to say.
He's back on form.
Yeah,
he's definitely
he was
back on form.
I forget which one it was, but
or I'm sorry, it was each of the last 2 US Open winners, Rahm and Fitzpatrick, also had positive strokes gain averages in every key denomination entering the week of their victories. I mean, he hasn't won since 2019, but
yeah, and he's what where is he at right now?
45 to 1. So I mean, close to that 50 to 1.
Yeah.
Another, and then I mean, some of the other guys like Fleetwood that we mentioned, Rose, DeChambeau, JT at 50 to 1. I mean, that's more like Vegas telling me like, don't touch that.
Yeah.
That's a sucker bet. I know I have him in our picks, but first round leader, one guy who actually has held the first round lead tied or outright in 2 of the last 6 U.S. Opens. You could get him at plus 8,000.
Adam Scott?
No. Russell Henley.
Henley. It's one of my sleepers.
Is that? I don't know about winning outright, but first round leader.
He was like 7th in a couple shots gain category, 5th in driving accuracy. So he had some sneaky numbers, and he's like 110 to 1 to win the tournament. So
I mean, 80 to 1 first round leader, and when he's streaky, so he can rip off, more birds in it. So I didn't mean to say your thunder, but why don't we go into? So he's one I like.
I mean that's it. Yeah, Henley and Thagala were 2 of the guys that were above the 50 to 1. That I was looking at. I mean, Corey Connors is 66 to 1. He's a guy we've mentioned. I think we had him in the Masters.
80.
Is he 80? Yeah, I don't know where my odds go. Yeah, so I mean, there's so much value in some of those guys. But like Jason said, that value probably is more in your top 15, top 20 finishes more so. I mean, you can get lucky, catch a flyer, the guy wins, but I mean, probably not. It's probably going to come from your top tier. How about you, Chalky? Anything on those high odds sleeper guys?
Yeah, I mean, like you guys were saying, as far as bets I would actually give out, some of these guys would be top 10. But I mean, guys I had on my draft list that we didn't get into: Im, Burns, Lowry, all 60 to 1 or higher. And though, I mean, of the longer shots that we haven't talked about, those are the 3 that I guess I would just throw in there at a higher price.
Yeah, how about a name I'll throw out there, Matsuyama? I think somebody picked. I think Kevin might have. Yeah. Why is his odds so high? I mean, I guess his form is also hasn't been the best.
Yeah, I mean, he's dealt with injuries.
Yeah.
Putting, he's kind of like the Scotty syndrome. And I think his U.S. Open track record has not been that solid. But, yeah, I mean, I think top 10, top 20 value. Yeah, what is he to outright?
45.
45.
Yeah. Jason, were you going to say something?
Well, my guys that I already bet for top 20 and top 40, and they're pretty juicy values. Where again was Thigala, and then Siwoo Kim is another one. I think he's a talented guy.
I think you had him in the Masters? Somewhere else, I remember.
I had him somewhere.
Somewhere,
I forget,
yeah. You mentioned his
and
name.
then Reed. I mean, Reed's got great odds. He's really good with his short game. You know, I mean, he's a good putter. He's good around the green and stuff. So,
I mean, he has USO. You know, he's done well in.
He's won majors.
Majors,
you know?
yeah.
He's won majors before. So, yeah.
Now, are you taking? There's this prop up there. They always have like big. It used to be Tiger versus the field. Now they do like the big guns versus the field. Big guns. So Scheffler, Rahm, Koepka, McIlroy at plus 200 to win. Any one of them to win plus 200 versus the field minus 280. Who you taking?
Did you ask me, Kevin?
Well,
Anybody? Yeah.
I didn't do that bet, but
I'm taking the chalk there. I don't know. I think it's one of those guys.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I would think it hits, but I couldn't make that. I couldn't have it 2-1. I mean, you might be able to structure bets betting those guys individually, and make better profit than 2-1.
Probably. Well,
yeah.
I'm guessing that's depending on what you.
I'm sure they figured that part out as well. But I mean, just saying, you can even bet them at different times of the tournament and make it more profitable. I'm just not going into a golf tournament taking a 2-1 unless it's like, you know, the final round and the guy has a 10-shot lead and you're going to give me 2-1 or something. But
I did do it. What I thought was a cool bet was the top live guy. I tried Reed at 10-1. You know, he just has to beat really DeChambeau and
Koepka.
DJ.
And DJ.
And DJ, that's true. DJ.
Yeah. Anything you see, Kevin, or Chalky, as far as like kind of weird odd bets, or you know, they're always kind of fun, or any other, you know, Chalky, you went into a lot of your picks already, like Jason just did, top 20 guys, or
so
we haven't necessarily talked about.
I have Kim top 10 as well, so I'll mention that. I have Hovland leader at the end of the first round. That's 35-1. Also, Hovland to have the lowest second round score, not necessarily the leader, but the best round of anybody. That's 30-1. So if he plays well early, like he's done in the past, you could maybe hit one of those two. And then I also did lowest live, but I went with a longer price. I took Mito Pereira at 11-1 for the best live score.
Not bad.
Yeah,
and all the guys I mentioned, I did for first round leader, just so.
Yeah, well, you could bet $2 and get big payouts on them. I mean, that's the fun part of that. Yeah, this is. I mean, all the golf tournaments, but I love the just live betting these guys too. So, you know, it's so hard that if you're betting like a Thegal at 80-1, like the chances of him winning. But yeah. I mean, you can get a nice 15-1 guy that has a legit shot after the cuts and all that stuff are gone, based on you've seen them play, you've seen their shots gained, you know. So guys that you like prior to the tournament, you definitely want to keep an eye on and, you know, continue to track and maybe make secondary bets and, you know, maybe make them for more because it's less odds, but you kind of have a better feel for it better. So that's something I always follow as well.
Yeah, same. And even the live, like I said, with going back to MGM, ties are included, so you could do live top 10s before every round.
Yeah, bro, I do live match. I've done match holes where you're doing, you know,
hole by hole.
It's like the pair, you know, who's ever paired, who wins the hole, and ties are involved. So you can bet it's like a soccer style bet. So there's endless action if you really want it. Yeah, the matchup bets are always fun too. You know, you get into the round and then you go matchup bets. Based on their pairings. Another one I always, because if there's a lot of times me and Jason will text during this, if there's a guy that I'm like so against for a particular round, you find out who he's playing against, and you know, you might be able to get the other guy at like minus 130, which is not, you know, not a bad odds if you really, you know, love that guy to not perform well. So it's another fun way to stay interactive.
And I think we'll know a lot after the first round, especially when it comes to scoring. Like if guys are going low, if it's going to be U.S. Open test. I mean, again, there's a lot of unknowns.
Yeah, are they talking about wins? Do you get out there?
No, perfect weather.
So
perfect weather.
Yeah.
Every day's the same. Like 7 mile per
LA,
hour.
I mean, a little June gloom, but the sun's actually been shining, baking out the greens a little bit. So, you know, I think they'll keep. They won't lose the course January. I mean, that's the other thing too. Is I love with the U.S. Open the carnage and players, you know, bitching about the USGA losing the course. but it'll get gnarly out there on the weekend.
It's like when we went to Marion, the PGA guy, they were complaining that the course was too hard and the rough was too thick. It's like,
Or like Phil hitting, like at Shinnecock, hitting moving putts because he didn't want it to roll off the.
Well, I was reading something too. It's like if you look at the when a guy shoots like 13 under, 60, the following year it's like one over. It's one under. Like they don't. Yeah, they don't. They make it impossible.
Yeah, because Koepka's back to back. He had like one really good score, and then the next year he won at +1.
+1, yeah. Time
There's only I guess I remember it, but I just didn't remember it. Looking at the winning scores, and again, this is just a winner, but there were scores that were a lot higher than I remember. There was only two rounds that were plus, so 2+1 winners, which was Marion, the year of Marion, which is what, Rose won that year?
Rose won, yeah.
Koepka. And then a lot of them were -6, -7, a couple double digits, and obviously the U.S. Open has the rep of they want you to play par golf to be the champion here. So I don't know if it's been a shift over the years, but and again, somebody could win by 6 shots and throw that kind of off. But the higher winners over the last decade was a little surprising. I just didn't remember that.
And Jason, quick question: what was the best part of Marion?
Oh, you got me. You got me.
When Jim Furyk on 17, you got me, guys. You got me. Somebody took a picture of him.
Somebody snapped a picture with their phone and
he was like flipping
you start
out,
crying,
he was dying. Great. I rooted against him every single tournament.
Yeah,
that was great. All right. Anything else, Kevin? You didn't really give your group of top 20s if you had any, or overall winner any. Besides what we already talked about.
It's a lot of, like I said, the chalk. I mean, of the big big three, if you threw Koepka in there, actually like Rahm to Rombo, to come through. I think a little bit better value than Scotty. I mean, at 6+, it's just tough to take somebody that short of a.
Yeah, with this many golfers to take somebody at 6-1. Although that's Vegas telling you, like, that's what the advantage this guy has over everybody else.
I mean, it's hard. If you look at the pure stats, it's hard to argue against Scotty, but
he just doesn't ever throw in like just a Rory. All those guys will have 4 rounds of just sometimes 2, and they don't make the cut. Just trash, and they never have a chance. Like Scheffler has a chance to win every single tournament that he plays in. He doesn't win them all, but he's never like totally out of it.
If you look at his. I don't think he's finished worse than T8 or something in the last.
I think it was top 12. He hasn't finished lower than top 12 like in forever.
Which is wild. And his finishes at majors, right? I mean, second at PGA, wasn't he? He was.
Oh, he was top 5
at the Masters,
wasn't he? Didn't he have another like really good final round?
Won the Masters the year before. British Open, he didn't do too hot. But even U.S. Open PGA last year, I think he was top 10. So. It's just that putter. See, but the one thing against him is that he's tweaking and like he's been practicing with like 4 different putters this week, so it's mental. And if once a putting gets to your head, it's. I mean, I don't want to say the Y word, the yips, but.
On the flip side of that, if he's putting well on the first day, mortgage your house on him winning that.
Yeah, I guess the interesting part there is going to be. To your point, or when we kicked off the show about the layout of the greens, if it doesn't, depending on pin placement, if you don't have a big room for error, so he misses a shot, and instead of it being a gimme on to hit par, it rolls to another part of the green.
Apparently, the greens are big, is what I hear. Like
there's like greens within greens. Kind of thing.
Yeah,
so you might have to lag tough 2-putt in some holes if you're right. So that's what I'm saying. So you like leaving your second shot.
I don't know if lag putting is his problem more than like he can't hit a 10-footer. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's within the 10-15 feet.
Right.
8 foot.
But if he lag putts it to 5 feet, then he's fine.
So it could play to his advantage too if he's not. But the problem is his ball striking is so good. He's always. He's putting right there for birdie from 10, 15 feet away.
He actually didn't make the cut at the PGA last year. I don't remember that at all. But
he did not.
No, after he won the Masters, he didn't make the cut. Just looking.
That was one. Yeah, JT. that one.
Yeah, that was the one that they covered on the Netflix one, right? Wasn't that the
Full Swing.
Full Swing? Wasn't that the one
I think it's
JT?
where they started.
Right,
Yeah,
where
yeah,
JT won, right? I think that
yeah.
was the one they covered.
Which is crazy. He's now 50-1. He won,
Yeah,
He's
on
really
on
just
Father's Day
off
too, with the
form.
story with him and his father. It's
Oh
like,
yeah.
come on. All right,
Yeah.
anything else from you guys before we wrap this up? Kevin, anything from our special golf guest that we may have not covered?
I plan on. I mean, again, because prime time, I plan on watching probably a solid 20+ hours of U.S. Open coverage. I got to actually get in all my bets tonight. So be doing a little more research with more fine tuning that. But no, I mean, I think it's gonna be a fun tournament to watch. Be golfing also. That's what I love at West Coast too. You got to golf during the day. And
Wait,
then
you're
watch.
golfing tomorrow? Is it tomorrow, Thursday?
I got rounds tomorrow, Sunday, Monday. So it's Father's Day weekend.
Must be nice. I'll be down the shore tomorrow, so I'm gonna have to catch
you
it at
go.
the shore. All right. Well,
Do either of you guys actually work for the company that employs you?
It's Father's Day week.
Father's Day weekend.
Right, yeah, I'm sure that's.
All right. Well, episode 59, right at the hour mark. Episode 59, Broad Street Hustle, U.S. Open. Thank you, Kevin, as our special guest. Much appreciated.
Pleasure's always.
Thanks, Kev. Yep.
Always welcome, even if you have some baseball and football thoughts. I think next week we were floating around. Jason, what was the topic we might cover?
40 years of futility of Philadelphia sports, basically. Just kind of run through, why we've only won 2 championships in 40 years.
That's in my lifetime, yeah.
Yeah.
I
heard somebody on the radio say, he's 38 and he's never seen I'm saying a Sixers championship, and you're like,
I was a baby when the Flyers won, so I don't remember the Flyers winning at all. I have the Phillies in 80, the Sixers in 83, and then the 2 championships after. That's all I've seen.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it before too. The Sixers one is even more incredible. That since '86 they haven't left the second round except one time or whatever.
We will get into that.
So that's like the craziest part. Yeah. So next week we'll all feel the pain of Philadelphia sports over the last 40 years. When it's the summer and it's only baseball, you gotta create topics for shows. So that's what we're gonna do.
That.
Episode 59. Have a great night. Thanks, everybody.
All right, boys.